Oh man, they can expect a lot of love, a lot of fireworks. It's a dynamic season. That's how I like to describe it. We go deeper into these character journeys, continue to peel back the layers of this modern black family in America, the Banks family. And so it's a beautiful roller coaster of a ride, and I can't wait for everyone to see it.
How were you able, or should I say, at what point did you narrow down the narrative that you wanted to disseminate to the audiences for this season versus last season and season one?
Yeah, it's a good question. Thing about getting a 2-season order, which we did from Peacock, is the fact that you can write to 2 seasons and you can kind of start arcing things out beyond season 1. And so there were always ideas percolating for what season 2 would look like, and Will in particular, his journey, and the rest of the family as well. And so it started very, very early, man, and we're excited about the future of the show, and hopefully we'll be able to tell more of the Banks family story in season 3, season 4, season 5 and beyond, bro. So yeah, man. So when the idea hit me, I was just saying, like, I wasn't actively watching The Fresh Prince at that time. I grew up on the show. It's one of my favorite sitcoms of all time. And we all know that show so well growing up in the 90s, right? But when the idea hit me, man, it was just a pure moment of inspiration. I knew it was something that was special. I knew it was something that could have some serious legs and some serious potential to scale the idea. But I did what I could at the time, which was to invest my money into a short film and make the short film that got this party started. We released it on YouTube March 10th, 2019. And Will's company, Westbrook, reached out within 24 hours and said, Will loves this and wants to meet you. So I go to Calabasas the next day. I chop it up with Will, and he asked the question. He said, what do you want to do with this? And I've always felt like in everybody's life there's kind of a moment that can kind of change everything, right? If you're ready for that moment. And I was, and I pitched him my vision to adapt my short film into a 1-hour drama. He loved my pitch. I go down to Miami, we shake hands and decide to make this thing real. So
you learned from Will Smith, and then what do you feel like Will Smith has learned from you being the director and kind of creating and getting the kickstart to this reboot?
Man, I've learned so much from Will. He's been through, he's been in this industry 30 years strong, 30 years plus, and since day one he's been a mentor to me and just schooling me to the game, how the business of television works, and he's just been so supportive every step of the way. And so I've learned a lot from him. And in terms of things I've taught Will, the thing that's so great about Will is he's just an incredibly humble guy, and he's interested in the process of filmmaking and storytelling because he's a great storyteller himself. And so through all of our conversations, we're always sharing gems with each other because he's a lifelong learner just like I'm a lifelong learner. So big shout out to Will. That's big bro always, man. And this wouldn't be possible without what he did, James Avery, Janet Hubert, the rest of that incredible cast from the OG sitcom, you know what I mean? So I always give it up to Will.
And lastly, I know you got this project, but are there any other projects that we can look forward to in the coming months or even years?
Absolutely. So I've got a project I'm developing right now with my good friend Dana Lynn North, who's the showrunner on the new Best Man series that came to Peacock. And so we're both from the same city. We're both from Kansas City, and we're working on something that we're really excited to take out here in the next few months. And so stay tuned for that. Kansas City all day. Big shout out to everyone in the 816-913. You know what I mean? Like, I love my city so much. We have so much passion in my city. There's so much talent in Kansas City, and I'll forever rep the town, So 18th and Vine, that was my dad's stomping grounds. My dad grew up on 12th Street, and so, all over and down, 18th and Vine in that district, that's always had a near and dear place to my heart, my family's heart. Very, very deep roots in Kansas City, that area. All the jazz greats would come over and play in that area. Charlie Parker, you name it, they all played in 18th and Vine near the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, which is right across from the American Jazz Museum as well. And so, I remember going to the Negro Leagues Museum growing up and spending time with Buck O'Neil. Buck O'Neil would always be at that museum, and so I'd meet Buck and some of the other Negro League players, man, and it's such a beautiful exhibit. And so if you're in Kansas City, would highly recommend checking out 18th and Vine, the Jazz Museum, the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. There's a lot to do on 18th and Vine in that district.